Hello and welcome to another edition of Whiskey Sunday's News Break. I'm your host, Derek Carey. New York Times reports Facebook's two top executives, Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg, met virtually with civil rights group to address their concerns over how social network treats hate speech, the source of a growing boycott at the site. The company's leaders delivered the same old talking points to try to placate use without meeting our demands, said Jessica J. Gonzalez of the advocacy group Free Press, who was on the call. Others on the call include the Anti-Defamation League and the NAACP Color of Change. I will now play an interview with Shanna Glenser, tech analysis for Fox Business, following up with the Facebook interview.
All right, well, it was supposed to be a peaceful powwow at Facebook where anyone and everyone in charge, including Mark Zuckerberg, would hear it out from advertisers wanting to bolt from the company and a number of groups concerned that hate speech is accepted and indeed encouraged at the company. So you wouldn't expect the reaction that Zuckerberg got or that those in power at Facebook got. A collective, we're not impressed. Yet the stock itself has barely budged. Why is that? Shana Glenser with us right now. Shana, you know what's remarkable is how much this stock has held up throughout all of this and continues to. What's going on?
Yeah, so, feedback loud and clear from those groups participated yesterday was that they are not pleased with Facebook's lack of action. But to your point, it's not having significant impact in these boycotts, these ad boycotts that will last for some through July and others until Facebook makes significant changes, also don't seem to be budging the stock price much. What's interesting, or at the beginning of July, if these boycotts continue through mid-end of July and start really impacting the numbers and more of those top 100 advertisers join in, I think that's when you'll start seeing some movement in the stock price.
Yeah, because up to now, big names, and we're showing just a few of them, including Coca-Cola, Ben & Jerry's, and on and on. But in the vast scheme of things, it still represents about 8 or 9% of revenue for the company. Now, that might change to your point, but in the scheme of things, obviously, you're running a company like Facebook, you want to mitigate that damage. But what do you see happening?
Well, if Mark Zuckerberg's own words are any indication, he said in an employee-only meeting last week that he's not concerned that the advertisers will come back and that that they're not going to change any policies because of this advertising. I think that the continued pressure here from advertisers and also very vocally from these Anti-Defamation League and anti-discrimination groups will put some pressure to take more action. But again, I don't believe there clearly was not communicated yesterday a definitive action plan to take steps. So I think they're hedging their bets a little bit on what exactly they do, specifically around that all-important political advertising.
Yeah, I don't know what happened or what went down at this meeting. Some anecdotal reports from those that were there said that Zuckerberg was actually kind of condescending to their views. In other words, what's the big deal? I don't know if that's true, and I just say that a sentiment that built a frustration from attendees that he was dismissive of their concerns. What do you think?
Well, certainly in some of the specific language that was reported back out of the meeting and from a few specific or different sources, were that some of the language he used did downplay the importance of their issue. For example, using words like, I'm trying to understand the nuance here. And for these organizations, in their own words, white nationalism is not a nuance. And this racism and hate speech is not a nuance. It's something that needs to be addressed. And specifically for this upcoming election, needs to be, Facebook needs to take action to ensure that, voters are not, discouraged from showing up to the polls, and that we have a repeat of what we saw from Russia during the last election.
Shayna Glenzer, thank you very, very much. It is the weirdest of all things because, to your point, so far, Facebook is dodging the real financial impact of this, but that could change.
Well, that concludes this edition of Whiskey Sunday's News Break. I hope you enjoyed the show. For more information, visit us at teamdoubleedge.com and join us on social media for content updates.